Hello heroes and villains, welcome to Multiverse. So as you can see, I'm with our friend Nix the Black Mask, and we are going to talk about the upcoming Legion DLC that should be released at least roughly in 2 weeks, if we're lucky. Oh, Nix is being mean. Hello, good sir.
How are you today, sir?
I'm good. So, Nix was kind enough to go on the test server. He printed us a whole bunch of pictures that I will show you as we talk. And so let's get started.
We have a lot to discuss, guys. The test server was a lot of fun.
So the first picture, Nix, seems to be the Hall of Doom with the time sphere.
Right, so this is right by the meta wing, as you can see in the image. And it shows the giant sphere there. That's where we gotta go. It's also right beside the Doom Metropolis, in case you want to know where it's located. It looks to be about the middle of the Hall of Doom. For Watchtower, what's it like there for you guys?
For the Watchtower, I will take a look at the picture right now. For the Watchtower, for some reason, it seems to be like sunk into the ground. It's not on the ground the same way it is in the Hall of Doom. It seems to be sunk into the ground so that the bottom of the sphere is like at level with the entrance of the portal.
Yeah, for us in the Hall of Doom, it's something that you would walk into. It's like a platform, and then you warp out to the DLC. It's kind of nice.
So next we'll look at the map of the open world, which seems to be pretty big.
Right, it takes place in the 31st century. So we're in the 31st century, and it's at a university, I believe. And at this school, essentially, it's a massive campus. So you'll see that as you would go into the DLC. There's lots of different NPCs that are there that look like they're at a school of some kind. And then there's a lot of the various NPCs that we'll talk to, and we'll have images showing up here in a minute over the various people that we'll talk to. But as you can see from this map, yeah, it's a big map. There's so many locations for us to go to. And all those little warp zones that you're going to see there, that are on there, the little swirls, I believe, though I'm not 100% certain of this yet, I believe that's where the bounty spams are going to be.
Okay, I thought it was going to be like in the Wonderverse DLC, like the solo mission. Like I had like 4 different entrances that will take you to like 4 different versions of that solo mission. So I thought that's what those warps were. But if it's the bounties, it makes sense.
Which is unfortunate because this DLC, it does not have a solo or a duo. It only has an alert, an elite alert, which is something new, and also a raid with their elite raid. So that is the DLC.
Yeah, that's something people weren't too happy about on the forums.
It is a little disappointing seeing that they don't have a solo and a duo, because I like doing those. I don't know about you guys, but it's okay. I mean, it is what it is. You take what you have, and you work with what parameters that you're given. An elite alert, that's nice that those are coming back again. That's been ages since they last done those.
Last we had them was when we had the monthly content. That's the last I remember from them. And now we're looking at some sort of sculpture. I think you took a few base items, or like there's a sculpture reaching beyond.
Right, so these base items, it looks like you have to complete collections or investigations of some kind. Not really sure what these images are representing, except for obviously, well, we'll get to a time sphere here in a second, but yeah, this sculpture looks kind of nice.
So we have the gem from the heart of Sorcerer's World. Let's see what else.
I think that's going to have to do something with the raid. It just looks important.
And also we have a 31st century time sphere. You must complete the Legion History Collection to purchase this item. It looks a bit like the time sphere we already have, but it seems a bit more opaque or more blue, and there seems to be some distinctions. So I'm curious to be able to compare it with the time sphere we already have.
I've had people ask me, what does it mean by it costs 5 solar credits? Well, that means that after you have acquired this item from your collection, and you've done that process, you can actually buy a second or a third or a fourth or etc. But you'll have to use 5 of the DLC credits. And the main DLC credit this time around, like the Splinter Coin was for Wonderverse, this time it's called solar credits.
So now we can see the dice of the Eye of Ekron. This one you must complete the Drink Across the Centuries collection to purchase this item. So the currency will be the solar credit, and do you know what the currency for the bounties will be?
Yes, I do. it is called. I have it written down here. It is called. Oh wait, no, where is it? Sorry, I'm trying to get myself organized here.
It's alright. So while you look, there's another base item that's called the Threshold Teleporter. For that one, you must complete the greetings from Dakota CD collection to purchase this item.
Okay, I found it. They're called time beacons.
Time beacons. Okay.
When you beat up one of the bounties, you'll be rewarded based on the amount of damage or contribution that they've tuned this DLC. You'll get a certain amount of time beacons that you'll need for certain gear pieces.
Okay. So one of the other sculpture.
Teleporter.
Oh yeah, I think it has to do with the Icon universe. They seem to want to bring the Icon, the Milestone universe a bit. And there's another sculpture to reach beyond us, which you must complete the Legion of Substitute Heroes collection to purchase this item. I wonder if we'll see the Legion, the Legions of Substitute Heroes, like Polar Boy or Stone Boy.
Oh, maybe in the alert. I didn't see them in the open world when I was out and about.
Well, maybe in a future DLC, we'll see. Hopefully they'll make more than one Legion DLC, but we never know. And right now I'm looking at the mods, so we can see it goes from vitalization all the way to health, of course. And these are the mods you can purchase at the vendor, version 39.4. So I assume it's going to be not unlike the Wonderverse DLC, like we should get some drops at random, like the mods 0.0 all to 0.3 at random playing the various missions or the bounties. And here we're going to be able to purchase the version 39.4 mods for 150. Oh yeah, Time Beacon. That's the currency you just mentioned.
Perfect. Yeah, so working on those head mods, just like this in the Wonderverse DLC, you were given an option where if you're under CR, so it's under the CR equivalent, that's 310 for the next DLC. If you're under that, you can't necessarily get the neural access coils, but you'll be able to get the refurbished ones instead. And then once you come to the range of 310 and above, you can trade those in, you can consume them into the new ones, and you'll be good to go.
And here I'm looking at the Time Traveler's unstable shoulder pads. So that's the blue gear that we're going to be able to get in this DLC, which is the Time Traveler style, which is a style that Nix and I are wearing right now. I'm wearing the style without the original version of the style, you could say, without anything added to it. And our friend Nix is wearing the style with some chroma materials added to it. Some chroma materials and some void materials.
Yeah, that's why I look better than you.
Of course. So the item level seems to be 267. So I assume it will, and it requires level 10. So I assume it will scale to the level of your character from level 10 to 267.
Right, it could have been higher, but I was under CR, so give or take, when you're running the DLC content, it'll likely be higher than that.
And next we have the Cosmic Boy gear, which is called, I can't see the name.
Ooh, the Cosmic Boy gear.
Could have sworn they had a name, like the Magnetic something. It doesn't matter. Basically, you can see the Cosmic Visor, mask, necklace. So that's the Cosmic Boy set of gear that's inspired by, obviously, Cosmic Boy from the Legion of Superheroes. It's one of the 2 sets of gear that we will get in that new DLC.
Oh, I'm looking at the image now. Yeah, it does not have the name of it. That's interesting.
Well, they often do that. Sometimes the box or the gear, the piece of gear itself will have one name, and then when you look in your style tabs, it has another name. Not sure why they keep on doing that, but they keep on doing that.
And likely once you consume the item, it'll then have the name on it when you look at it again, so that's fine. You just have to take it in, and then whatever your CR base level is at, it'll be assigned to you, and then it'll have the name right beside it, which is fine.
So and then we can see the max item level for that gear will be 272. What else?
Again, that's also partial in part because I am under GR equivalent. So
No,
you rate,
no, the 272 that comes straight from the description. If we look at
right.
the item before it's actually consumed, uh, from the vendor itself, the max item level is 272.
Oh, that's correct. I
It,
get it now.
it
Yes, that's
says it
right.
costs 4 solar credits and 32 time beacon. Oh, that's the enhanced version. Sorry. The enhanced version is combat rating 272, and it'll cost 4 solar credits and 32 time beacons.
That's right. I thought that when you consume them, it would then change that 272 number to whatever your equivalent is, roughly uh, when averaged out together. But no, it is a set amount, 272, that's the number. Which will
So
actually be lower than our current purple that we're wearing in this Wonderverse DLC. But that's fine.
and here we have the utility belt and the weapon box, so you can see the prices in solar coins.
Now this is interesting that it has the enhanced. If you look at the enhanced version, also it has an enhanced weapon box. That's kind of interesting. I think that's new. I'm not sure if this Wonderverse DLC had that. Did it? Do you remember?
Well, the enhanced weapons were the weapons, the elite weapons you could purchase from Cassandra, I guess. Uh,
Yeah.
but I have to admit, I realized that I never even bothered to look at the style of that weapon, so maybe I should do that at some point. So now we've pretty much covered the Cosmic Boy gear, and now we have the Emerald Empress gear.
They did a great job with the looks on this gear. It actually looks quite nice. Good for female or male characters.
So to purchase that gear, it will require combat rating 310, so obviously not everyone will be able to purchase it. You will have to be at level to be able to purchase it. The style, here we do have the name of the style somehow. It's the Thrall of Ekron. And you can see pretty much all the style.
Now, I've already done the math on this. If you were to buy all of that regular gear that you're looking at right now, it would cost you about 405 total for your solar credits. So that's a lot of work that you're going to have to put in, a lot of raids and alerts that you'll have to do, as well as the open world stuff.
Yeah, sadly, that's one of the reasons why very often I don't have the gear, or it takes me forever to get the gear from the episode, because sometimes I'll purchase some of the rewards instead, and then I'll have to catch up purchasing the gear.
And that's fine. Again, we always encourage people to go at their own pace. So if
Sure.
you want to take it slow throughout the while. If you want to wait till a double or a triple currency comes in for that DLC, you can wait to buy your gear then too.
So in here we can see the elite version of the Emerald Empress gear. So again, you will have to earn elite renown. Although in this case, it's not going to be only the raid that will provide the elite renown. The alert also will have an elite version.
So that's an interesting concept because it's never been done before where they've given us an elite alert while it also gives us renown to the DLC. Now don't expect a lot, just a heads up to all of you. But it will help you to be able to get this elite gear. If you find that the elite raids are too difficult, maybe the elite alerts are the right choice for you. You'll have to see when we get yourself into the DLC.
Well, in the past, when we had the elite alert, it was elite gear that would drop in the alert. We didn't have an elite vendor where we had to purchase the gear. Like we didn't have to build our renown. We just had to play the elite version of the missions, and whatever elite gear would drop, that's what we would get. So it was random drops way back when. So yeah,
Right.
this is the first time where the elite alert will allow us to earn elite renown to purchase the gear.
But again, don't expect much out of it in comparison to what the raid would give you. Like you might see at the end of the alert, you might get only 50 renown total. So you play it as you go. Be prepared to spend a lot on that if that's the goal and that's the range that you're going to go for it. The total amount of solar gears or solar credits you'll need for the elite gear is 599. Have a look at that next picture of the neck. Can you have a look at that?
Yeah, it's 600. I forget what was the currency again?
Well, that is time beacon, I believe.
Time beacon.
That's it.
Okay, so it's 37 solar coins and 600 time beacon. So it's not unlike on Cassandra. On Cassandra, some of the elite gear that you could purchase from her were pretty pricey.
And I think this DLC is a little bit more expensive, but if you'll have a look there on the left side, it doesn't require any renown. So like in the Wonderverse DLC, you don't need renown to do this. But in retrospect, you're going to have to run the bounties a lot. So
But
I've already calculated that out. It'll
it does
cost you
require
about...
it does require CR 310 though.
That's the other thing too, for sure. But it'll require you about 1,700 time beacons if you want those as well.
But for I remember with the Wonderverse, like the first weekend I was able to grind for roughly half of the elite stuff. And the only reason why I wasn't able to grind for everything is because I didn't have enough splinter coins, and I didn't want to use replay badges. Like you could replay the bounties and get all the currency you needed to purchase from the elite vendor, but getting the splinter coins was challenging at first unless you were using replays, and I didn't really want to use replays at the time. So it took me basically 2 weekends. The first weekend I was able to get half of the elite gear, and then when we got reset the next Thursday, then I was able to get the rest of the elite gear.
I
So
believe that's how I did it too.
okay, so I have
Because I also waited. Sorry, go ahead.
that's okay. But so it did require some time and some commitment to play the bounties over and over, but it wasn't too difficult I thought in that context though.
No, it really wasn't. You had to put in some hours in
Yeah.
order to be able to get the open world currency, but you got it after a while. It wasn't that bad.
And when we start getting like a double currency after a while, then it became even easier.
That's right. They had about 2 or 3 weekends. It might have been just two, where they had 2 weeks worth of double Aethers. So that was the double of the Wonderverse currency, open world DLC currency. So that was really nice, and I hope they do that again this time. I'm sure they will.
Well, I'm hearing rumors of a bonus artifact next week, so I guess we'll see. Bonus artifact XP.
Right, I saw that too.
Uh, I'm trying to look at the ed augments. Let me check. It mentioned upcoming rank and bonuses, but that seems to be for augments, not really for the headpiece. Like there's a time capsule, a time institute triangulation, duplicate boys addition, Ikron's favor, we are legion, run bonus, and dimensional anchor at rank 23, which usually is the maximum rank for the augments.
Right, so let's go over all of those. So the very first one, the Time Institution Triangulation, that's for extra open world currency. So that's for your time beacons. So you're going to want to do this almost at the beginning of the DLC so that when you're running those bounties, you get that extra one currency, or in this case, if you had two of them, it would be two extra currency, which it will help you a tremendous amount. Trust me. Last DLC, we forgot to do that at the beginning, and so many of us, we did about 10 or plus rotations, and nobody thought of this. But then one of my friends had mentioned it, and it was like, you can be getting extra currency, you know that, right? And sure enough, there it was. So the second one, the Duplicate Boys edition, so that's the extra gear choice that you'll get. So when you're going through the alert or the raids, you'll get extra gear as an option. The third one is about the DLC itself. So that's the Emerald. It is the Emerald Gaze does 10% less damage per augment. So that could very well be the Emerald Empress attacks, her attack in the open world, or maybe she's in the alert or the raid. I believe it'll be the raid, but we'll have to find out.
Well, she usually has like a green eye as a summon, so I assume that's what it's referring to.
For sure, that very well could be. The fourth one, the We Are Legion, that will be the 3% of your head mods. So you'll get, like, let's say for example, you're wearing the Dominance and Health wands. So you'll want to equip those ones, and you'll get an extra 3% of Dominance and 3% of extra health. And of course, if you have two, you'll get 6 in total. The fifth one, the Brand bonus. Extra main DLC currency. So that's the main DLC currency that we have, the solar credits. You'll get an extra 1 currency for every alert that you do and every raid that you'll do. So that's a nice little extra bonus. The sixth one, and this one's more so pertinent to your raids. The first bit, it says, prevent knockdown from evil Cosmic Boy Metal Sphere Attack. Ooh, that could be interesting. I think the Evil Cosmic Boy actually comes from the alert, so that might be something for us to look into when we come to the next DLC. And a second augment is reduce effectiveness of Mordo's Absol Impulse by 10%. We're not sure what that means yet. It could be about the raid. Well, I guess we'll have to see.
And next we have the 8 terabit encryption key. Requires mission completion, gotcha get up, gotcha go. So it seems to be something that costs 200 of the... what's the second currency again?
The time beacons.
The time beacon. So it seems to cost 200 time beacon.
More than likely that comes to ensure, it says there, ensure nobody can crack statics damage goggles. So that's your OP for this DLC, an OP face. You'll likely need these catalysts. There's likely more after that first one that you'll have to get in order to be able to level it up. The great thing actually about this DLC is that face piece that you get, you can instantly wear it. You don't have to hold off and only be able to equip it once you're done leveling it up all the way. No, you can instantly put it on. The problem is, though, it'll be a weaker CR for your character, but if you're going for just the look concept, put it on, and it's there. Just make sure you don't delete it, obviously. And you can level it up as you're going along, and it'll, with enough catalyst put into it, it'll grow over time, and it'll be up to a great CR at the end.
Hopefully they'll do that with all of them in the future. I guess we'll have to see. And next we have the access coils, which are the adaptive augments. Again, sadly they will require a CR 310, but I wonder if they will grant, like they did with Wonderverse. With Wonderverse, they would grant you two adaptive augments, even if you were not at level, but they were like weaker ones.
Right, so going into the test server, we were not given a box of 2 of the head augments, but I imagine absolutely there will be. As soon as you get into the DLC, you'll get a box, and based upon your CR, if you're above 310 or at the 310 requirement, you'll likely get the neural access coils, but if you're not, you'll get the refurbished ones, and that's just fine too.
So basically you should get 2 of those as soon as you, if you're combat training 310, you should get 2 of those automatically. But if somehow you don't get them, or you need more, you can purchase them for 5 solar coins. So not usually a big deal to try to get those. Artifacts. So let's go into the artifacts. So the first one, I showed them a bit. I showed some of the descriptions that we had so far in my previous video, but here you can see the actual description on the artifacts themselves. So we'll start with Grimoire's chains. Not too happy about that one because I can see that it's supposed to be a controller artifact, but I'm not sure why they put stuff like a Grimoire's laceration. That it actually does do something beneficial, but then it does damage to you and your team. So not sure why they put those kind of restrictions. Unless
it's interesting. Yeah,
unless the benefits are so good that they have to put some sort of drawback, but I don't see it.
Yeah, it's tough to say, but yes, the higher you go up in the artifact, the more damage it'll do to you and your allies. I'm not sure why they have to add that. At least it doesn't include the orbital strike, so that would be dangerous.
Yeah, I suppose.
It's more of a slowing effect artifact for your controller. So if you want to, let's say you're fighting the Teen Titans giant robot in that DLC, and you want him to be much slower, you would put this artifact on, and he would move around much slower, and he would do his moves at a much slower pace for about 6 seconds. And it's adjusted based upon overtime, and of course how much of the artifact you have built up. It's okay. I mean, its stats on the next page. It's okay. You get the 4% vitalization. It's not bad. Seems to be a lot of health though. 5%. That's not normal for a troller to hold on to, but 3% dominance is okay. It's not a high anticipated artifact from what the test server page is showing, but we'll have to see what happens when the DLC goes live. Maybe they'll make some good changes to it.
Maybe. But the one I kind of like is the Quizlet one. I seem to recall it was like a pet, or I'm not sure if it was a pet, an alien, or that used to be hang with the Legion of Superheroes in the late 80s, early 90s, I think.
I was gonna ask you, what is the Quizlet? Ah, okay, so that's
It's
interesting.
some sort of a alien, but I forget if he was a member of the Legion or if he was a pet of the Legion. But it's some sort of alien creature that was more or less part of the Legion.
So if you guys remember, I believe it was in the past DLC, we got an artifact called the Source Shard, and that's to help any of your pets that you summon to do extra damage. The Quizlet, that's exactly what this is. This is a pet summon for your DPS for might, and essentially you'll do damage out based upon you using superpowers to attack up to 8 enemies. And it has another move where it has a Mega Blast, where it does a pretty decent chunk of damage.
It looks
And
like a
you
little
can,
drone, basically, but I forget.
yeah, it does look like a little drone. I didn't get a chance to mess around with it, but I bet that would be a pretty cool looking summon pet.
Well, I love the Eldritch God that we get with the Grimorium Verum or whatever, and
Hmm.
so I was toying with the idea of teaming, as you mentioned, if we got the Eldritch God, if we have this pet, and then you boost them with the other artifact, that could be a good thing.
Absolutely, and you also would have like I believe the robot sidekick. I believe that works with the sword shard. I'm not 100% sure of that. So can you imagine all of those pets getting that extra bit of damage? People talk about the various DPSs in the game, whether it be might based or whether it be precision based with your weapons. But those might based characters, maybe they don't necessarily like to use their loadout, but they like using pets. So we call this the DPS pet summoning uh, roles. So this is another great artifact if that intrigues your interest, which is actually quite interesting. The 4% might base that you get for 180 is a little disappointing. We were hoping for 5 or a little bit more. Again, I'm not sure why they're giving us 5% health. It's really not something of a stat for DPSs to have. We don't tend to focus in on health. We make sure that we have our might based stat maxed out. So that's a little disappointing, but that's okay.
Well, one thing I could think of for 5% health is that I see a lot of DPSs that uh, don't really concern themselves with survivability. It's as if they figure out the healer will heal me, and they never have anything to try to survive on their own. Like if the healer is down or something, I've seen too many DPSs that have no survivability, so I can see that them trying maybe to offset that with that 5% health. That's all I can really think of why they would do that.
That makes sense to me too.
So general information about CR for the two instances. So the first one is the Legion HQ orientation. So that is which one is that?
That one's the alert.
The alert. Okay.
And you'll see there on the left hand side there what it requires for you in the CR equivalency. I can't see these pictures.
It's 310 to 342. The minimum
Perfect.
CR will be 310. Suggested CR is 304, and the suggested dominance will be 15,707.
The next one I believe is the raid.
It has to be. There's only two instances.
Yeah, that's it. That's all we have.
So the raid seems to be called Legion Convergence of Unmaking. The relevant combat rating will be 310 to 342. So again, minimum CR 310. The suggested CR in this case is 316, and the suggested dominance is 18,049. Now we saw in the live stream what the map kind of looks like. It reminded me of I forget which one from the Justice League Dark DLC where you had all those platforms. So they
Shattered
seems
Gotham.
is it okay? So they seem to have decided to reuse that idea a bit.
Not everybody was keen on that because I know there was a lot of people who were having difficulties maneuvering those jumps, and having a raid that's based upon a lot of jumping is a little uh intense for some players, but we'll see
Well,
what this DLC is like.
it gets a bit frustrating. Like I remember one of the reasons why flying was so convenient is that like in some missions, if you recall in the Forest of Solitude, like there were gaps sometimes where players would fall into, but if you had flying, you didn't care about those. You just flew over that. So it kind of negates that. It removes your ability to be able to just fly freely wherever you need to. I guess they're trying to do that so that you have no choice but to go through the platforms like everyone else. But it's a bit annoying when you make the choice to fly to avoid that kind of crap, and then they kind of force you to go through it. I can see the frustration of,
Right.
some people about that. And next we have the NPCs vendors. And also there's our friend the Static. From what I understand, you should be able to talk to Static. It will give you some sort of quest or errand that will allow you to be able to get the omnipotence face piece. I'm not sure if it's a face piece or a head piece. I'm pretty sure they mentioned it in the stream, but I have to admit, completely forget which it is.
It's a face piece.
It's a
I
face
can
piece,
confirm.
okay.
And the Supergirl, she gives you one of your daily quests that's out there. Again, with a static, we think it might have to do with you have to complete the alert first or the raid first. If not, it might be something else entirely, and that's fine.
So you may have to go through some sort of mission before you can actually talk to Static, or maybe you have to raise your combat rating. We'll figure it out when we get the actual DLC. And we have a hologram of our friend the Saturn Girl. She's probably just one request giver, I assume. I have to wonder why a hologram as opposed to the character itself. I guess there is a reason.
Yes, there is.
Okay, so
Go ahead.
Evil Nix will keep the reason from us, it seems.
I don't want to give too many spoilers out.
It's not. That's fine. That's fine. And then the next one will be a hologram of Lightning Lad. Don't know if there's anything you can say about that.
So the holograms of Lightning Lad as well as Saturn Girl, they have one of your daily quests as well.
And we have the Brainiac 5. What is that supposed to be? Like a dashboard or a screen?
Yeah, computer monitor of some kind. It's just a little disappointing we couldn't see his full layout, but that's okay. He has one of your weeklies that you'll have to do.
Okay. And I saw that there was a Computo also. Yeah, and there's a similar thing with Computo. Computo is an evil villain from the Legion of Superheroes way back when. Although in the new Bendis verse could be different, we don't know.
Seems to be on our side, so.
Well, it started as a computer that Brainiac 5 had built, but then as all AI, it turned evil and it became one of the Legion's biggest foe. So
That's right.
I suspect that we may get something like that at some point.
So that one has one of your weekly missions as well. Similar to that of the Justice League Dark DLC where you had to go out and collect some things. So they want you to go out and repair signs in the open world. There's 33 of them. It's very fast and easy to do.
And we have what seems to be the 4 vendors.
So similar to that of the Wonderverse, each of them has a corresponding piece of gear or repairs for you, like any other DLC.
So I guess we'll get one for the blue gear, one for the gear requiring combat rating 310, the elite gear, and then the bounty vendor, I suppose, and the repairer vendor. Okay.
Yep.
So I guess that pretty much covers it. Good sir. Anything you'd like to share from going to the 31st century?
I gotta say, Emerald Empress looks great, as well as the eye. There's a fun hidden boss fight that you'll find in the bounties that's similar to that of the Hydra. This individual will always be there, and you'll always fight him whether you guys succeed in your phase or not. It's a lot of fun. I think you guys should definitely be excited for this upcoming DLC. I do have a request though. If you aren't 100% familiar of who are the Fatal 5, and you're willing to take a dab into this, I suggest you watch Justice League versus the Fatal 5. It's an animated version. It's a little bit darker than the old classics of the Justice League animated TV show, but it showcases off a few of the Fatal 5, and you're going to see them in this DLC. So you should have an idea as to who they are and how they relate to each other.
There was also a Legion of Superhero cartoon, what was it, 10 years ago? Where odds are we probably saw the Fatal 5 also there. But yeah, the more recent Justice League versus the Fatal 5 is probably the most recent example we have of that. Could have sworn we saw them elsewhere. I forget if it was in Batman Beyond or Justice League Unlimited. Or I could be misremembering. Been a while since I've watched any of those shows.
I think it might have been the Batman Beyond. I'm not 100% sure though either.
That's alright.
Other than that, if I get any more details, I'll let you guys know.
But anyways, in roughly 2 weeks, everyone should be able to get access to that. So in 2 weeks, we'll all be in the future, literally. I assume it'll be in 2 weeks, but if it's a bit longer, it shouldn't be much longer than that. So that's going to be pretty much it for now, guys. If you have any questions, feel free to ask so in the comment section down below, and we'll see about what we can do about answering your questions. But there's roughly 2,000 videos at this point about DC Universe Online on the channel. So search through my videos. You should be able to find an answer to your question if I cannot answer to you quickly enough. There's starting to be a lot of you guys, so it's getting harder and harder to be able to answer all the questions. So if I don't answer your question right away, search my videos, but I'll try to do what I can to try to answer as many people as I can. So if you want any have any last words?
Don't be a hero.
So that's going to be pretty much it for now, guys. So as always, thank you for watching, and we will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
See you later, guys.